Hi, I'm Tessa.
I'm Matt.
And welcome to Little Lady Homestead. So today we're doing something that we've actually never done before. We are sitting down to make some goals for next year, specifically for the homestead and animals that we want to raise, what we want to do in the garden, and that way we intentionally write it down and work towards those goals for next year. And so I kind of have been thinking about this, and I'm sure you have too, even though you wouldn't say that you would. I bet you've been thinking about it.
Well, I'm sure you've been thinking about it a lot more than I have.
But still, I think it's good that we both sit down and create this list together, and then we can start working towards it. So we're both on board. Okay, so first of all, I guess a recap of what we've done this year, and then that'll help us think of what we want to do next year. So this year, probably the biggest thing is that we raised 3 pigs. We raised and processed 3 pigs. Mm-hmm. And so we got about, what, like 300 pounds of meat?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and that has been amazing. We actually just had pork chops tonight, and they're delicious. So I have been coming up with lots of recipes, different ways of eating sausage, because we had 150 pounds of sausage. And we've smoked bacon, we've smoked the tenderloins, I've made ham steaks, we eat plenty of sausage, we've had ribs, those were delicious too.
Yep.
Anything that we haven't tried yet? Can't.
I don't think so.
Oh, I make stew with the roasts. Mm-hmm. That's delicious, and I made pulled pork.
Right.
So anyway, we definitely know that we want to raise pigs again. And we did have a garden this year. We had, let's see, a 45 by 60 foot vegetable garden. Well, no, that wasn't all vegetable. Yeah. So probably 30 by 45 was the vegetable garden, and 30 by 45 was my flower garden. So we want to continue that as well. Mm-hmm. And we raised, well, I purchased 40 meat chickens, but we ended up with 25 because we had high losses.
There's a spider. Sorry. But it's right there.
You want me to get it for you?
Yeah, it's a spider. You have to kill it.
Okay.
You have orders to kill.
Yes, I'm the spider killer of the household. What else did we do this year?
We built that fenced-in pasture.
Oh, right. We got goats. We got a bunch of animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you built the fence with my dad, and we got goats. We started using them to clear a lot of the brambles around the property.
Mm-hmm. You built your rose garden, or your berry garden.
Yes, the berry patch.
Yep.
Yeah, and we planted a small orchard, and then the deer enjoyed themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we did plant vegetables. I didn't do a great job. I feel like I was a few weeks late in getting everything into the ground. All my cold weather crops, like the broccoli, the snap peas, I waited way too late. I could have planted them a month earlier than I did.
Yeah.
So
well, you had started a bunch of stuff in seed in those little cups, and then I think you started them too early. I think, and then because we did, well, maybe you started them at the right time, but they sat out. Mm-hmm. We just didn't get them in the ground, and the wind was crazy in the spring, and it just blew half of what you did.
Yeah.
So that was
wasted effort.
a bad system, and then that resulted in bad timing, and so.
Yeah. It was a good first go.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have guessed that we would have gotten all of that in a year.
Yeah.
And it's because we stretched like we did.
Yes.
And tripped and fell on a bunch of stuff, but it was so that we could get as much stuff as we could and done in a year.
Even just the opportunity to learn,
Yeah.
like the opportunity to fail and learn from it.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Minimizing the failure, but knew it was inevitable, so.
Yeah. All right, so I guess for next year, I think the biggest impact from what we did was raising those pigs. I think that should be our first priority next year. Is raising pigs again.
Right. I mean, that was the clearest and easiest measure of, value that we made.
Yeah.
And that was overall, I mean, you did most of the work. You did almost all the work in making that pen, but we learned
That
how
it wasn't
to
good
make
enough.
a pen and where to put a pen.
I did my best, but my best wasn't good enough.
Yeah, painfully after all of their adventures.
Yes. The
Yes.
pigs escaped quite a few times, and we retrofitted their pen after each escape. And then finally in the last month, they didn't escape.
Yep,
I think in the
after I
last month.
installed the gate that we bought for it at the beginning
And never put
into
up.
a tree, then they stopped getting out.
Yeah.
But that was the 2 a.m. middle of August, 2 a.m. install of a gate into a tree.
Yeah. After
Bugs were literally crawling all over my head.
after
but we got it done.
After we had to come back from our camping trip.
Yeah.
Our neighbor called us and told us that our pigs were out. And so we were 2 hours away and had to come back, and
Yeah.
Matt fixed it in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, but to actually talk about the goal is to raise at least 3 pigs. We were talking about maybe even 4.
Yeah, because you're expecting us to consume the meat of 3 by when? It'll last us to.
Probably midsummer.
And then
Maybe.
you
Well, we're gonna
plan
be
to
out
slaughter-
of. We're gonna be out of a lot of stuff before then, but like
What are we gonna eat?
lots of sausage.
No.
So much sausage.
Oh, that's just all that's gonna be left?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. When do you plan to slaughter these new ones?
Well,
And when do you plan to get them?
So this is one thing that we can consider. We can either have 4 pigs. Ideally, we would want to get them when we come back from vacation in the summer. And then, because having pigs while you're away from home, it's just too stressful.
It's a good way to have some stress.
And so we'd get them when we get back, and then they would be ready to process in like January.
Is that
see.
a good time to? Is that when you want to? January?
Oh wait, no, that would be more like December, I think.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah, so maybe
Hopefully
maybe
nothing-
before Christmas.
Yeah. Less doing in icy, snowy weather, if at all possible.
Yes. So the two options would be process 4 pigs July to December, or get 2 and 2.
Is that a thing?
We'll
Isn't
get
that double the work?
it's double the work, but we would get meat faster. So if we
I don't think so. I don't.
we'd rather run out.
Yeah,
and
I'd
then
almost rather run out and,
Yeah.
and cry a little bit.
make it that much sweeter.
It will be a different season of meat. We'll have chicken.
Oh well,
more.
this brings us to our next one. I think we're
Wait,
ready.
hang on. Are we done talking about pigs?
I think so for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
The type? Didn't you want to change
Oh,
types?
right, yes.
The bacon pigs?
Yes. So I got the suggestion to try out Tamworth pigs or hogs, and when we had our pigs processed, we only got 11 pounds of bacon, I think,
Yeah.
which
And
is kind of
and
sad for 3 pigs.
Because we didn't we don't want to nitrate them, and that's the way to preserve it after you cure the bacon. And so basically when we cooked up our first rack of bacon, it was just, we're gonna eat this bacon. And it only lasts, you know, a short period of time before it's gonna go bad, so then you need to consume it. And so basically you get to pick, was it 3 times? We get 3 chunks, 3 racks. So you get to pick 3 times in the next year that you're going to have bacon, which is not good.
But
it's not sufficient.
The most amazing bacon, though, it was really
good.
Really good.
Yep, it's really good.
But we don't have that much.
There's not that much.
So I would like to raise Tamworth pigs this year. And they are supposed to be longer and leaner, which helps produce more bacon. And
Downside? Do you have a source for them?
no, I have to find where to get them. Also, we got, I think, about 6 pounds of leaf lard, which I haven't rendered yet, but that would be another downside if you want a lot of leaf lard.
Well, what do
You
we
won't
need?
get it.
Do we have enough for what we need? Do we have
Well,
enough? Do we?
I haven't even explored that yet. I haven't even started like making my own biscuits. You can make it, use it with biscuits. You can make it or use it with pie crust, any kind of baking like that.
Yeah, you should throw that on there. Make more biscuits.
Make more biscuits. That is a goal for the year.
On a fire.
Time for bed, okay?
Okay.
Good sleep, little girl.
That's good. This one might be bigger. Raise 104, or well, no, not raise, process 104 meat chickens.
So times 4 what we did.
Times 4 what we did.
Okay.
So-
But divvied up into how many?
I think 3, we want to raise chickens 3 times.
Okay.
So we
That's
will get
totally
them
doable.
in March, and you wanted to process them Memorial Day.
Okay. That's just me speaking? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good. That's really smart, past Matt.
And then we would get some when we get back from vacation. So then we wouldn't have meat chickens either. And they would be processed, I think, in September.
6 weeks, right?
No, it's like eight weeks.
Okay. 2 months, so yeah.
Yeah. And then we would start a new batch in the brooder in August, and then they would be done in October.
Okay. When do we expect to run out of chicken that we have now?
Pretty soon.
Oh, pretty soon.
Yeah. My goal is to smoke 2 chickens per week. Because we eat chicken teriyaki every week. And we eat another chicken meal at least one more time. If not just smoked by itself, but incorporated in another recipe.
Yeah. Okay.
So the 104 that we would want to have in the freezer, that would get us a year.
Okay.
And then a new thing,
Okay.
I would love to raise turkeys,
For.
meat.
Okay. And when is this happening?
Probably when we have the middle batch of Cornish, or no,
So get in July.
maybe. It would have to fit.
What's the process time?
I think 16 weeks.
So they'll process after all of the chickens are done.
Yeah.
Can you lump them in? Do they? God. Do they use the same equipment as the chickens? Or do I just use shotgun?
So yes, you do process them the same way, but they're bigger than the Cornish crosses. So
Yeah.
like the kill cones that we had, the Cornish crosses
Wait, but their
didn't fit
necks
very
are
well.
stupidly long, right? Won't they just snake
Oh,
out
there
of
you
the?
go.
They'll snake
Yeah.
out of the.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to look more. It's a goal. It's a goal.
Okay, a goal.
It's a
Right, yep,
goal.
Yep.
Okay, moving on. All right, so another big goal of next year is to double, or no, actually triple the size of our vegetable garden. because this year our garden was 60 feet wide and 45 feet deep, and we actually are in the process of establishing new garden beds that will make it 105 feet deep and the 60 feet wide. And so 1/4 of that will be flower garden and the rest will be vegetables. And so we'll have to make new rows, continue the rows and move the flower garden around. But we already have 2/3 of it. Oh, sorry. No, we probably have about half of it tilled right now, and then the other half we're going to till in the spring. We didn't know if till or no till would work better, so we're just kind of experimenting. We have 3 different areas, one where we laid down leaves, one where we planted a cover crop of field peas, and one where I basically just put a bunch of manure on there. Rabbit manure, goat manure, chicken manure.
Yeah.
And so we'll see which one performs better.
Yeah.
But that should give us a lot more space. And I do have to be more efficient with starting seeds next year, because this year did not go very well.
All right.
All right, then also it would be amazing to create a pig garden. Well, not a garden of pigs, but a garden for pig food. Down by the old house where we want to put the pigs, there's a large area, about 80 by 120 feet, that we could make into a garden. I don't know if we would right off the bat make it that big, but I would love to plant a lot of high yield crops, like a lot of squash that went really well this year, and cucumbers. What else?
We're gonna have to tarp that.
Yeah, probably as soon as it starts warming up.
Yeah.
Maybe in April we'd start tarping it, and then the beginning of May we would till it and then start planting. And you were saying about mulching down there, because this year we found out that just heavy mulching was the key to preventing weeding just our whole life.
Yeah.
So this year we used grass clippings, but it was hard to keep up with the amount of grass clippings that we needed.
Yeah.
And so I think we're going to try to get a tree service to just dump wood chips. And especially if we make our garden down there right next to where the pigs are, there's a driveway right in between there where hopefully the tree service can dump wood chips and we can keep it heavily mulched.
Right.
So we spent about, I think, an appropriate amount, what the processor said. We spent about $500 per pig this year, including the cost to purchase them and the feed. So if we raise 4 pigs, that would bring us to $2,000. I would love to take that down to $1,500. That would be my goal to spend on them. If we could get it down to $1,000, that I would be ecstatic.
Yeah.
So I also want to look or try to find local grocery stores or restaurants that maybe take some of their food waste, like food that is still good, but maybe it's past its expiration date and they can't legally sell. If I can work out a situation like that and feed the pigs and the chickens too.
Yeah.
All right, and we already covered this one a little bit, is to build a chicken tractor to reduce our losses. Even though I loved having them more free range, just in their poultry netting, I think they just need to be more secured, more protection from predators. So we need to build that. I would like to build a wide A-frame style, like the picture I showed you that has the metal roof.
Yeah. Metal roof.
Yeah.
No tarps.
Yeah. So we'll design that and hopefully get that ready before the first set go out on pasture, which would be in like April. All right, so we're at the last one now, and it's a big one, and now it's kind of an iffy one too. We were more sure about it And then a few things came up, one being our daughter is on a food trial right now to see if she's lactose intolerant, which we have no idea if that's what's going on, but it's at least the first step that we're taking. And that could influence our decision on that. So far she's been a really good sport about it, but I probably would overall reduce our family's dairy intake by a little bit, at least not make every meal with cheese in it or cream. So there's that to consider, but also even in spite of that, getting milk from a cow, I would love to have that replace some of our feed costs. So pigs benefit really well from raw milk. It's a great source of protein, especially even just the leftover whey from making cheese, just milk byproducts you can give to pigs.
Right.
And chickens too. It's really good for them. And also, it's a goal of ours eventually to raise our own beef. And so you can really inexpensively buy bottle calves who, were only with their moms for a few days or hopefully at least a week. But then, they sell them because they don't need them and they need a bottle twice a day. So they're really cheap. But if we have her as a nurse cow that we milk maybe once a day or just occasionally, then she can feed the animals on the farm, she can raise the bottle calves, and then, if all goes well, we can get milk too.
Right. Yeah.
So we'll see. Again, there's a few obstacles that popped up, but we're hopeful that it'll work out. It just might not be as soon as we hoped, at the very least.
Yeah. We're
So
thinking of doing that in the next few months, but it might slide to the right a bit.
So one other thing that we would need to get done before that is build a shelter for the cow, or we would probably want to build like a 3-bay loafing shed essentially, because we would want to be able to separate a calf or calves as needed. We would want an area for the cow, and then I would want a milking area.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pricey. So
Yeah.
we need to save up for that and set aside the time to build it. So we have also been trying to find alternative sources of those materials. We went down to the old house because there's a rubble pile from an old barn. And I really thought that there would be more down there, but there really wasn't.
Yeah.
Even in the rubble pile and the 3 or 4 existing buildings down there, either there wasn't enough of one type of material, or it was just unusable. It was old and unusable, or that maybe the building was in good enough shape that we might be able to repurpose it and
Right.
get it back up and running.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We're definitely not going to go spend a couple or a few $1,000s on making a cow shelter if we're not 1,000% sure
Yeah.
that we're going to do it. So we want to wait until the food trial is over and try to make a decision from there. Either way, it still could be yes or no. So we'll have to see.
Right.
So do you think that's enough? Do you think those are enough goals?
That's a lot of goals.
I'm good at making goals.
Yeah. Got a lot of work. I don't know if it's more than this past year.
I feel like this last year was more.
Yeah.
Because
the
the
well, and it was the problem with last year is it was this is more of stuff we kind of know now, whereas last year it was completely unknown. We didn't know at all what we were doing. So, yeah. That was the main hurdle. I don't know how many, you can't count how many times we made mistakes.
Yeah.
And those had cost and time delays to the garden.
letting it get 4 feet of weeds while I was gone on vacation for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So I think we have a lot to plan over the next few months now that we're getting into winter and it's going to be kind of a quiet time. We have lots of time to, quiet. We still have a lot to do. One thing we didn't mention was clearing out a lot of the vegetation down at the old house. It's just, I feel like it hasn't been touched probably in 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. Probably around, it's closer to 10 than 5.
Yeah. And so even just the trees that have popped up and taken over things, it's really bad. And so it starts to affect the buildings and the structures.
Yeah.
You know, trees growing into the buildings.
Yep.
And so we want to get down there and just basically clear everything.
Scorched earth.
Maybe not scorched earth. Clear.
Should probably salt the ground.
Clear. Goats.
How are you gonna have goats on next to the house?
Why not?
Well, okay, at least not on the front. It's right next to the road.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll move them around down there.
Somebody might steal them.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, I was kind of half joking.
No, well, either way.
God, these are goats. God, who would just leave these goats here for me to take?
All right, so I think it'll be fun. We'll plan all this stuff and we'll get it all done.
Yes.
Maybe not, but it's good to dream. And whatever we can't do this year, or maybe we just do part of it. You know, if we can't raise 104 meat chickens, then we do 70, you know, and grow.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Okay. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you for following along our goals for our homestead for next year. And I hope you are enjoying planning your next year as well. And I look forward to making all these videos for you. I will bring you along our journey in getting all this done. Thank you so much for watching Little Lady Homestead, and I'll see you in my next video.